The day started off with a quick selfie moment with my friends before we began our shift. It was just a simple way to capture our energy and excitement before getting to work. We started our shift at 8 a.m. in the morning by checking in and asking what we could help with for the day. And almost immediately, we were assigned to our designated position and everyone began settling into their tasks. After that, I moved on to my first task as a cashier. My responsibility was to label takeaway containers from 1 to 100. This numbering system helped Rumah Gepok to keep track of the number of products sold in a day, making it easier for them to monitor daily sales accurately and stay organized throughout operations. For each container, I carefully wrote the number in a small corner on the left side. I had to make sure that the numbers were clear, neat and consistent so that it would be easier for the team to identify them later. Even though it seemed like a simple and repetitive task, it required focus, attention to detail. Over time, I started getting into the rhythm and the process became smoother. It almost made me realize how even the smallest tasks play an important role in keeping operations running efficiently. Starting work was quite nerve-wracking at first, as my friends and I didn't really know what to expect. Of course, we also didn't want to cause any issues for the staff or the owner. But from the start, you could already see how at ease we became. We were joking around a little, talking to the staff and slowly getting comfortable in the environment. The staff was really friendly and welcoming, and they were also ready to guide us throughout the day, which made the whole experience much easier for us. After completing my first task of numbering the takeaway containers, I went on to volunteering and helping my friend Patricia at her station. Since it was still opening period, the shop was in preparation mode. So we were mainly prepping ingredients as my cashier role would only officially begin once the shop opened. During that time, we were cutting up cucumbers, which is a fixed part of every meal regardless of the side chosen. Together, we managed to cut around 20 to 30 cucumbers while still talking and keeping workflow going. The environment there felt really calm and balanced, with a strong sense of teamwork throughout. As long as you were on task and completing your work, there was no pressure to stay silent. You could still talk and interact naturally. It made the whole experience feel relaxed, smooth, and genuinely enjoyable to be a part of. After finishing the cucumbers, we move on to cutting a large bag of cabbages. The staff member, Kak Reva, kindly demonstrated how to properly cut them according to their use. We carefully observed her instructions, making sure we understood everything clearly so we could get it right when it's our turn. We learned that there are actually different methods depending on whether the cabbage are meant for frying or served uncooked, as each requires different texture and cut size. Honestly, watching her cut so effortlessly was quite impressive. It was one of those moments where you could tell that she was very experienced and had definitely made this a part of her daily routine for a long time. Throughout the process, whenever we were handling knives, the staff would always remind us to be careful and to avoid injuring ourselves. That constant guidance made us feel more aware and cautious while working. With Kak Reva's demonstration and the team's support, we slowly got the hang of it and continued working together smoothly as a team. After completing the cabbage cutting, the three of us immediately worked together to clean up the station. Without needing much instruction, everyone naturally took on a role. We started by wiping down the tables, clearing away any leftover scraps, and making sure the surfaces were clean and ready for the next use. At the same time, we swept the floor to remove any fallen pieces, ensuring the entire area from the tables to the ground was neat and well maintained. It was a simple task, but it really reflected a strong sense of teamwork in the environment. Everyone was aware of what needed to be done, and we worked efficiently without any confusion. After that, I gathered all the knives and cutting boards and began washing them carefully. Since these tools we had just used, I made sure they were properly clean, paying extra attention to remove any residue and ensure they were safe for the next use. Once everything was washed, I arranged them neatly back on the rack where they belong. There was something really satisfying about seeing the station go from busy and slightly messy to completely clean and organized again. It also made me realize how important cleanliness and organization are in working environment like this, especially in food preparation where every small detail matters. Here is a short clip of behind the scene of what's happening during the preparation before the opening starts. Everyone was prepping and preparing whatever that needs to be done before we actually start serving customers. After that, I was called back to continue my cashier task. I was asked to label another batch of takeaway containers, adding an additional 100 to the ones I've already completed. This brought the total up to 200 Tupperwares that needed to be numbered. By this point, I was already more familiar with the process, so everything felt smoother and more efficient. I continued writing down the numbers carefully in the small, same corner at the left side, making sure that they were neat, consistent, and easy to read. Even though it was repetitive, it didn't feel as challenging as before. Instead, it felt more like I found my rhythm and I was able to complete the task with better speed and confidence. It was a small moment, but it showed how quickly you can adapt once you get used to a task, especially in real working environment. After arranging the containers in sequence, I set them aside neatly, making sure they were ready to be used when needed. While I was still in the process of numbering, a customer approached, ready to place an order. With a quick green light from the owner, I stepped in and took the order. It felt like a small but exciting moment, as it marked the transition from preparation to actually operation. From that point on, we were officially ready and the day had truly begun. Once I completed the order, I went on to help others with pre-packing the sambal merah and sambal hijau. So here was the process of me and my friends preparing around 50 to 100 packs of sambal merah and sambal hijau. While waiting for orders to come in, I made sure that I was constantly doing something productive and helping out whenever I could. As we discussed with the owners, even though we each had our designated role, we were still encouraged to move around and support one another whenever needed. That flexibility made the whole workflow more dynamic and team-oriented. While packing the sambal, I would also move between front and back, assisting as a cashier by taking orders and at the same time helping out with preparing orders when needed. From this part of the video, you can really see how calm and relaxed the working environment is. It's not strict or pressure-oriented, and we were able to do our work while chit-chatting and interacting with one another. The owners and staff here clearly practice a more family-oriented environment, where everyone feels comfortable but still responsible for their tasks. Everything was well coordinated and organized, and you could see that everyone was contributing, no one was lacking, and everyone was ready to help. Personally, I really appreciate this kind of positive work environment. It made the whole experience more enjoyable rather than stressful, and it honestly motivates you to want to work and do your best. It showed me that a healthy and supportive working environment can make a big difference, not just in productivity but also in how people feel while working. From the video, you can see how my friend Patricia and I work closely together to ensure efficiency. Instead of both of us doing the same task, we divided the work between us. Patricia focused on pouring the sambal into the packets and then passing them to me to tie them securely. This pre-packing process is done for customers who prefer their sambal to be separated. Rather than having it poured directly into the container with their rice and chicken, it gives the customer more flexibility in how they want to enjoy their meal. By working this way, we were able to maintain a steady flow and complete the process much faster. It also made the whole task feel more organized and coordinated. It was a simple system, but it showed how effective teamwork and clear task distribution can really improve efficiency in working environment. Here you can see Mukhtar just passes a big bowl of freshly made sambal merah, which means once we completed packing all of the sambal hijau, we will wait until the sambal merah cools down and proceed by pre-packing sambal merah too. Also, if you noticed throughout this video, we were wearing black gloves while handling the food. This part was a recommendation we gave to Rumah Gepok after identifying hygiene was one of the areas for improvement in our first assignment. Although some of the staff were still not wearing gloves, our team continued to practice this method consistently. We wanted to set an example and stay firm with our suggestion, showing that small changes can contribute to better overall standards. Cleanliness is extremely crucial in the F&B industry, as it directly affects food safety, customers' trust, and overall service quality. By maintaining proper hygiene practices, we are not only improving operations but also reinforcing the importance of professionalism in food handling. Overall, this experience really highlighted how attention to detail and consistency in basic practices like hygiene can make a significant difference in working environment. We also divided tasks among our other friends. Darren and Sugan were focusing on pre-packing the sweet soy sauce into small Ziploc bags. This is because customer prefers to add the soy sauce themselves based on their own preferences and amount. It also helps to prevent the rice from becoming soggy compared to pouring it directly into the takeaway containers. So, from a group of 4, we split the work efficiently. 2 of us handle the sambal preparation and the other 2 focus on packing the soy sauce. This simple division of labor helped us to maintain a smooth workflow that made the whole preparation process much more organized and efficient. Here, I had already set up my camera at the cashier section after we were done pre-packing all the sambal and soy sauce. We were all standing by our station, ready to receive orders. I managed to record a few clips of myself handling the cashier duties and taking orders. However, I didn't manage to capture much footage because my phone was also being used as a calculator, since Rumah Gepok did not provide a calculator for larger or bulk orders. I also noticed earlier that the owners and staff were using their own phones as a calculator as well, which led me to eventually stop recording midway to use my phone to assist with order calculation instead. Even though I couldn't record everything, it gave me a more real-time experience of how busy and fast-paced the cashier role can be during operation hours.
Seksi 1. Sambal dia nak asin sekali ke campur? Asin. Sambal merah, hijau atau kuning? Nama? Syawal. Syawal. Saya kan kita belah sini. Terima kasih. Tak. Terbaik. Zero ice. Milo ice. RM3.50.
Over here, you can notice how the staff are constantly checking up on us. So here is Aiman asking whether I was doing fine, whether I have encountered any issue, challenges, and how was I doing throughout the day. The staff and owners are very friendly and very concerned and are always guiding us to ensure that we are doing fine, we are doing well, so on and so forth.
Rehat kira 8 jam. Patutnya. Tak pernah rehat lah.
Both owners fully placed their trust in me to handle the cashier duties and manage the cash on my own, which honestly shocked me at first. At the same time, it gave me a strong sense of motivation and responsibility to do my very best. They also trusted me to completely deal with customer as I had prior customer service experience from working before. Because of that, I was already familiar with what to expect and the different type of customer I might encounter in a fast-paced environment. I made sure to stay alert, maintain a positive attitude, and always wear a smile while interacting with customers. My main focus was to deliver the best possible service for Rumah Gepok by assisting new customers, ensuring their orders were taken according to their preferences, and providing recommendation whenever needed. Whether it was explaining menu options, handling requests, or making sure everything was accurate during ordering, I tried my best to stay professional and helpful at all times. This experience really boosted my confidence and it showed me that I was trusted with real responsibility and able to handle it independently in the real working environment. After taking an order, I noticed that Darren and Sugan were busy preparing previous orders. I decided to step in and help with assembling the next sets of meals. I went ahead and placed the rice, cucumbers and vegetables into the container, then passing it to them at the next station when the chicken, tofu, tempeh, soy sauce and sambal options were added. This helps to ensure a continuous workflow as we were always aware of where help was needed in each station. Instead of working separately, we naturally supported each other to keep the process running smoothly and efficiently. It really shows how teamwork and quick communication can make a big difference during busy operation.
Kalau tak cakap asing sekali. beli air. Ada ais kosong. Ais kosong. Ya. Set.
Afterwards, the owner Ashraf came over and showed me an order from GrabFood. The order management was done through his phone, so whenever a new order came in, he would inform me directly. My task was to write the order details on the box similar to previous ones, but this time using the Grab order number instead of usual naming system, as it was handled differently for delivery orders. This helped ensure that all orders were clearly labelled, organised, making it easier for the team to prepare and avoid any mix-up during the process.
Nama Yuyu. RM13.40. Sambal nak merah kita campur. Sekejap. Nak sekali kan? Sekali ya. Ayam goreng RM6. Terima kasih.
While waiting for customers, I noticed that Patricia was busy prepping to prepare a fresh batch of sambal hijau by removing the stems from a large amount of green chilies. I decided to step in and help her as there was a quite significant quantity, around 3 kg of small green chilies and another 3 kg of larger ones. It was time-consuming task, so working together made it much more efficient. We both sat down on the floor, focused on carefully going through each chili one by one. It required patience and attention, as we had to ensure every stem was fully removed for proper preparation. At the same time, we also made sure to sort through them properly, separating any that were not suitable before they were sent for cooking in hot oil and later blended into sambal. What stood out during this moment was how calm and steady the work felt. Even though it was quite repetitive, it gave us a time to talk while stay productive, and the shared effort made the task feel less tiring. It also made me realize how much detail and care goes into food preparation behind the scene. Things that customers usually don't get to see but are very important in maintaining quality. Here is another angle of us pre-packing more red and green sambal as well as soy sauce. After removing all the stems from the big and small green chilies, Batrisha was assisted by the owner in preparing a fresh batch of sambal hijau. She was guided through the recipe and the proper procedure for cooking the sambal to ensure consistency and quality. Once the new batch of sambal hijau was completed, we continued to pre-packing more sambal and soy sauce to prepare ahead of time. This was done to avoid last-minute packing, which could slow down the flow of operations during busy periods. Even though a lot of items were pre-packed, all of the food is still cooked fresh every day. Everything is handled with great care to maintain high standards, as freshness is prioritized to ensure consistency and quality in every serving. Every step is done with proper SOPs and you can really see that everything is prepared with attention and love for the food. By preparing in advance, while still maintaining freshness, it helps to keep a smooth and efficient workflow throughout the day. Here are just multiple time-lapse video of us working throughout the entire operation of our 8 hours. Everyone was moving diligently, helping each other, one another in every station to ensure that the workflow is smooth and continuous. Everybody played their part in different types of station all along the way till we complete our 8 hours shift.